Welcome to Troy's Outdoor Pursuits and Projects. This is my fourth video in my series, Just Another Duck Boat Build. In the last video, we got the inside of this boat fiberglass, and I've got the materials ready, the hull is finished, and we're ready to fiberglass the outside and get this boat finished once and for all. Okay, we got the hull all sanded and ready to go, and I've got my fiberglass cloth here. I'm going to leave myself a little extra all the way around, and we're going to roll it out. We're going to do this differently than I did the inside of the boat. We're going to lay the cloth down first, then we're going to pour the epoxy on, and I think it'll be a heck of a lot easier that way. I've done that before with the drift boat that I built, and I had no issues. So that's how we're going to do it. I would like to mention, if you want a perfect covering on your boat, which I'm not concerned with, you would want to get your fiberglass mat or cloth on a roll, because this folded stuff does have some imperfections. You can see the fold marks every 12 inches, so I don't care, but if you want to do a nice strip-built kayak or something like that, you would want to get it on a roll. It was like an extra 30 bucks shipping, something like that. But this is just fine for me. Okay, we got my new US Composites epoxy. I've had them by the wood stove, warming up a little bit, try to make it a little thinner. It's not super cold out here in the shop. It's probably about 50 or so, but anything helps. Can't stress how important it is to get this mixed up really well. Just kind of working my way from the center out. Working all the bubbles out of that corner before I wet out the sides. It's easier to pour your resin on the top side here and just dribble off about as much as you want, or you'll lose a bunch off the bottom like that, like I just did. Don't want to waste resin if you don't have to. Nothing's cheap anymore, except for me. I'm pretty cheap. Not too bad. .3/8" radius minimum on your corners. I've had no issues. You get it too much sharper than that, and the cloth won't want to bend, and you'll end up with a little bubble on one side, the full length of the corner. I'm gonna try something. I got this here 3-inch tape. I'm gonna try to double up the bottom corners of this boat. Give it a little bit more strength and durability. I don't know if this is gonna work out, how well this is gonna work out. But I can't remember if I've done it this way before or not. I probably have. Probably gonna work out just fine. And this is going to get another coat of, at least one more coat of epoxy on the bottom. All right, I like that. That's a lot of extra meat on the edge. I'm going to do both sides now too. All right, this is working real good. I'm going to do the other side. I don't need to video that, so looking good though, guys. Now I'm going to leave the sides of the boat rough like this. The bottom will get a second or third coat of epoxy to make it nice and smooth. But I don't care about the sides. In fact, I want it to be a rough finish because after all, it's a duck boat. It needs a little texture. It hides a little better. Okay, that's good. Until I decide to put the next coat of epoxy on the bottom. We're going to add graphite powder to this. So graphite powder is used on the bottom of wood boats with epoxy bottoms frequently. It theoretically does a couple things. It theoretically makes the bottom slicker because graphite's a bit of a lubricant, maybe a little tougher, maybe a little lot more likely to slide over rocks. That's kind of theoretical. I don't know if I buy it that much, but I still do it. It also adds color. It's very black, which does add to the UV resistance of the epoxy resin so that it protects the resin and the fiberglass underneath it. And I gotta say, I've got my little layout boat's got this on it. It's outside all the time with the bottom facing the weather, and there's no wear from sunlight that I've seen. So this is what I'm gonna do. It's what I've done in the past. I'm gonna do it this time. I think I'll use about 1.5 spoons per batch here. Okay, I'm going to call that good. Let it set. Hopefully it'll level out a little bit. If not, I'll sand it a little bit and put another coat on it tomorrow or the next day. Till then. Okay, it's been a couple days. I'm going to sand this bottom one more time so I can put another coat of epoxy on it. I want to knock the bumps off and knock this ridge off around the edges. Okay, it's kind of against my grain to put that extra $20 worth of resin on, but it does look a lot smoother and maybe it'll last a little longer. That's it for another day or two. Okay, take a look. It's all dry. I'm happy with that. Turned out pretty good. All right, let's get this thing flipped over and get on with it. Okay, this transition was an oversight on my part. This piece should have been thicker, but it's not, so I had to cut this piece of plywood because it's what I have that works. And I'll lay that in, glue that in a place like that and round this edge off and finish the fiberglass over the edge. I don't care what anybody says about this brad nailer. It's a pretty cool tool. When your batteries are charged. I just want to point out that I'm being very careful not to sand this edge. That's where my strength is. So I'm just sanding, I'm just kind of feathering this in with the wood, the fiberglass in with the wood, because this will get covered with fiberglass over the top. But I don't want to sand that edge. Okay guys, I'm going to glass in these braces, this joint and this joint on the inside with tape. However, I'm such a tightwad, instead of using the 2-inch or 3-inch fiberglass tape I was bragging about, I went ahead and cut strips, which might cause me a problem, but that's just how I am. The problem with cutting is that these threads come off. It just makes, it's just messy. Okay, like that. I'm going to do the rest of this now. But you don't need to watch that. I'm going to try to wrap it under the gunnel here a little bit. I don't know if it'll stick, but I'm going to try. Okay, this is going to be cutting it real close. I'm trying to use up my West Systems epoxy, and I'm not sure if I have enough to do the whole top of the boat. If I don't, I might have to blend in some of the US Composites epoxy, and I don't know if they'll mix, but we will find out. Hopefully I'll have enough. Okay guys, I got this thing fiberglass last night and I'm happy with the way it turned out. It rained all night, still raining this morning. I wasn't sure if I wanted to come out from the shop, but I just decided I had to face the storm. My wife buys me these corny shirts at the Goodwill, and it's just the life that I'm stuck with. But regardless, the epoxy's still a little tacky. So today I'm going to work on grass rails, hand poles, and a motor transom. So I'm hoping I'll be able to float this thing this weekend. So let's get to it. Okay, so I decided I want my grass rails to look something like this. And I've got this piece of blue stained pine that I milled off, I don't know, my property maybe quite a few years ago. So I'm going to run that through the planer and try to make some of this. And I've still got all 10 fingers. You know, I would imagine there's a lot of people saying, why is he wasting his time building grass rails out of blue stained pine? Why isn't he using ash or white oak or some other traditional boat building material? And the reason is, I'm just really tight. And this blue stained pine I milled with a chainsaw mill, and it didn't cost me anything but the fun of producing it. So if I could build a whole boat with blue stained pine that I have quite a bit of, I probably would. And maybe I will someday. I made this handle out of redwood and I love it. It's so light, but it's not high enough, and I don't have any redwood right away that I can use. So I'm just going to make one a little higher out of this pine. I got my little add-on transom made up here, and I got all my grass rails and my handles. So I just mixed up a little bit of epoxy. I'm going to rub some epoxy on all of these just to give them a little bit of water resistance, I'll say. Okay guys, I got some color swatches to pick from here. Not sure what I'm going to pick yet, but the epoxy's dry. I'm going to start doing some sanding. Okay, we're going to start putting the handles and grass rails and transom on. These will just be temporarily located, some of them, with screws. They'll get bolts later when I'm sure about the position. off, I put my grass rails on the top of the boat as opposed to the side like normal grass rails, because I'm going to be using them as much to contain cargo like, oh, I don't know, crawdad traps or decoys or whatever, as I would be to using them for grass rails to hold grass. But the other thing is, pine is not, I don't know if I mentioned this, but pine is not a good material for grass rails. It's a little soft, and flat sawn pine as opposed to quarter sawn is even worse. And then screwing wood screws up from the bottom into the flat sawn pine is not as that great an idea either. So that's why I've got a clamp on here, because I got a split. So I'm probably going to leave these the way they are. They seem super solid. But on the front of the boat, I'm going to use machine bolts through the top. So it'll be sandwiched on. It'll hold a lot nicer. It'll also be a lot easier to install, I think. So I'm going to start on that next. I just wanted to explain that. I want to put some pad eyes in various locations on the boat so I can run some shock cord through it to hold for grass or whatever. So I'm going to make some out of this doweling. Okay, I'm going to affix these pad eyes with a little bit of 5-minute epoxy. I don't know how many of these I'll be able to glue on with this, but I've already got my locations marked out. Just going to dip that in a good amount of epoxy. I've already sanded and cleaned the area where they're going to be affixed. So this should go pretty quick. Okay guys, I'm ready to put on primer. This is just latex exterior house paint primer. It's just a bonding primer. I've used it on other boats. I have no issues at all with using latex paint on a duck boat. Not at all. It's worked out really well for me. Easy to put on. Ooh, this might be a little chunky. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside too, even though I probably shouldn't, because I might have some changes I want to make to the inside, but this is going to go pretty quick, just rolling on a sloppy coat. The color I picked out is a green color, kind of an olive drab. I'm not sure if I like it or not, but I'm going to paint it anyway. Show you the color here. We'll see if I like it. Time to pack this thing up, get it in the shop, let it dry overnight so I can test it tomorrow. Well, it's Sunday. Just got home from visiting and going to church with my son and his family, and it rained last night, so my pond's high enough I can float my boat in the pond. So I'm going to pack it over to the pond and we'll float this thing and see how it does. Okay, here we go. Pretty stable. See how she paddles. Now I'm kneeling when I'm paddling because that's what I typically do in a boat like this. This is how I do it on my scull boat. This thing paddles really nice. I'm really surprised to see how it glides and tracks. Not bad, could be better, but I have no chines or keel on this boat. I've got no chines or keel, so it really doesn't want to track that well. I can add chines or keel at any time. I don't know what my speed is, but this is commensurate with what I get out of my kayak with the same amount of effort. It just doesn't quite go as straight, but this is pretty nice. See how it paddles from a sitting position all the way back in the cockpit. I've got no backrest, so this is, you know, there's no comfort to this at all. At least not yet, but this still paddles really nice. I'm really surprised. With the backrest, this would be actually pretty comfortable. But the sides are a little high for paddling, but it paddles a lot better than I thought it would. Far better than my little layout boat. So let's try the motor on it. I have the wife here videoing. She just wants to be in the YouTube. Turns on a dime. 40-pound thrust Minn Kota. It should clip along pretty well, I would think. Get her plugged into the battery. I'm just using a RC60 plug. Wrong way. That's full speed. That's pretty fast. That's pretty amazing. All right, we're gonna have to load the wife up in the boat at the same time. We'll see how this really works. It won't be good in rough water. I could tell that. Okay. Hey dear. What? I need some additional payload.
It'll go under.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Just step in.
Can I sit right there?
Just step in. No, we got to get off the bank first.
All right.
Well, it'll work for you and Caleb.
Yeah, probably work for me and Blaine. So payload wise, I've got myself a couple 100 pounds and my wife 120 pounds. So that's pretty good payload.
You're not 200. You weigh about 180.
Oh, okay, thanks. And it still goes plenty fast. I think we could shift the weight back a little bit, but that's easy enough done.
Go faster.
Huh?
I don't think it went any faster.
Yeah, maybe not. But this is really fast. This is, I don't know how fast it is.
Flips right along.
Yeah, it does.
Faster than rowing.
Okay, you can hop out now and I'll finish my little clip here. Just hold on, don't try to get out yet. You'll fall. All right. Thank you, payload. Bonus video. I didn't have nuts and washers on my transom bolts. I kind of lost my motor. We're going to try a smaller motor, see how it works. That's where I put some transom bolts in. Okay guys, we're going to try this little motor right here. I don't know what this thing weighs. It doesn't weigh very much. It's pretty light. A lot lighter than that Minn Kota. I've had it for, over 40 years. By the way, my transom is loose. I've had it over 40 years and it's probably 45 years old. But let's see how she works with this little 45-year-old motor. Not bad. Not bad at all. I don't know how fast I'm going, maybe 3 miles an hour. I'm not on full speed. That's full speed. But I don't think I should run this motor full speed because I've got an oversized prop on it. So we'll run it at 8. Not bad at all. I should add that I have plans for remote steering for this boat and remote control. Start, stop, forward, reverse, variable speed. I've got parts coming. Not bad. Pretty happy with that. This is a much lighter motor. I just don't know how reliable it is. Okay, so I had 4 objectives when I built this boat. One is that it would paddle better. 2, that it was easier to hunt from. 3, that I could put a motor on it. And 4, that it would weigh 60 pounds. And this boat has far exceeded all of those categories except for the weight. The total weight on this boat came out to 75 pounds as it is right now, bare hull, which is 15 pounds more than I had hoped for. I guess that just gives me a reason to build another lighter boat. But all in all, I'm really happy with the performance of this boat, both paddling and with a motor, and I'm sure I will put it to good use next season, if not before then. So thanks for watching, guys, and please like and subscribe. Check out my channel for other boat build videos, duck hunting videos, landlocked sturgeon, Shasta Lake fishing videos, whatever else I come up with between now and when I get tired of doing YouTubes. Thanks again, guys.